and very good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Roshli from Team USV. A very warm welcome to all the delegates for this session on Future Plus with the theme ArthaSutras. That is, the financial planning tips for the doctors by the doctors. It is said that financial peace isn't the acquisition of stuff. It is learning to live on the less than you make so you can give money back and have money to invest. It is a process of utilizing your financial resources in the best possible manner to achieve financial goals. Although crucial for everyone, but it is often a very neglected topic. When we talk about doctors in specific, due to their late start in their career, investment in the clinic as well as on the education, on themselves to upgrade their skills, they need proper financial planning. With this brief note, I would like to invite our course mentor for today, Dr. A.G. Unnikrishnan sir, and our expert panel. Dr. A.G. Unnikrishnan sir is an endocrinologist and CEO of Chellaram Diabetes Institute, Pune, a leading diabetes institute in India and an International Diabetes Federation certified center for the education and excellence in diabetes care. He also heads the newly formed Chellaram Diabetes Research Center. Sir has published the largest multi-center study of the subjects with pancreatitis and pancreatic diabetes to more than his 200 PubMed indexed publications. Sir also has been credited with numerous awards, naming just a few, like Jacob Memorial Prize for the Best Patient Care during his MD in CMC Vellore. He has also received 10 to 9 awards in oration in the last 9 years, including the DTech Award for Excellence in Diabetes and Technology and VC Matthew Roy Oration. Sir has a vast experience in the field of research. He has edited various journals like Indian Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism and the Journal of Thyroid Research and Practice. He is also editor-in-chief of the Journal of Chronicles of Diabetes Research and Practice. It is great to have you here with us today. And with this note, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Unnikrishnan, sir. Over to you, sir, for the further proceedings.
Thank you, Dr. Ashley, and it's a pleasure to be here. And this is one of the most successfully running seasons of our very successfully running Future Plus program. And the importance of this program, the reason for its success is because it is exactly on topics which doctors need to improve their work, to improve their personal life, to improve their work-life balance, and finally, to keep them ready for the future with skill sets. So there have been several seasons, and we had season 1, we covered topics like digital practice. Season 2, we covered topics like collaboration, researchers' mindset, how to be a speaker. Season 3, we covered white coat investor to some extent and the doctor as an influencer. And in season 4, we covered the art of public speaking. And as you can see, the topics are extremely practical, extremely relevant to us in our day-to-day practice. And today is also an example of an excellent topic, ArthaSutras. And these are the objectives. How can doctors set their financial goals? How can a doctor establish and achieve those goals? And how can a doctor diversify an investment portfolio based on the life stage and practice into various parameters like debt, equity, contingency, so many other things. We have a very eminent expert panel for today. We have Dr. Manoj Chadha, who's one of the top endocrinologists in the country, if not the top. He's a consulting endocrinologist at the PD Hinduja Hospital and also has been a faculty at the KEM Hospital, more than 10 years of teaching experience, past president of the Indian Society of Bone and Mineral Research, has been awarded several awards, has several publications in leading journals, and is an excellent speaker with excellent communication skills. The second panelist is the eminent Dr. Pramod Gandhi from Nagpur. He's a founder secretary of our Endocrine Society of Maharashtra called the Maharashtra Endocrine Society, an excellent organizer. He has organized the Endocrine Society of India's annual conference in 2019, which was a spectacular success. He has been the past president of AMS in Nagpur, past president of the Diabetes Association of India Nagpur branch, and has several awards and has been faculty at several events. Our third eminent expert is, of course, somebody who's going to be the real subject expert, if I may say so. A very fascinating CV of Dr. Ramnath Ghute, who's actually a well-known and expert radiologist from Mumbai, but has also founded WealthCon, a WealthCon journal, a WealthCon YouTube channel, and he loves to spread financial knowledge for doctors, and also has got a passion for imparting financial education to doctors, which is very important. Very rarely do we see people who are willing to go a step forward for our own community. He's taught 70,000 doctors so far, has started a HealthCon group, and has also got more than 5,000 members who have been benefited by the HealthCon lifestyle regimen. At this point, we have the audience, and there's a poll for the audience. And we know that in our audience, we have youngsters, very senior doctors, mid-level doctors. So let me ask this question to the doctors. At which stage of your career did you start investing? Was it at the graduation stage? Was it at the post-graduation stage? Was it post-start of clinical practice? Or haven't you started yet? So let's have the answers. And while we wait for the answers, let me go ahead and welcome Dr. Ramnath, and also ask him about one question. The doctors spend decades of your life in education and acquisition of skills. By the time we doctors start practice, some of our colleagues who are engineers are already, heading big companies and MDs and CEOs already. And many of them have retired also. So for doctors who are just starting their practice, we know the answer, but how soon should we start investing? And your thoughts, Dr. Ramnath.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And hello, Dr. Pramod sir, Manoj, Dr. Chadha sir, and Dr. Unnikrishnan. So I can take this point forward that doctors spend 1/3 life in the medical colleges, and thereafter they start practice. And the question which is asked, at what life stage you started, probably the question is wrong, because most of the doctor do not start investment. They are forced by agent to buy some policies or mutual funds. So probably this is forced investment, and most of them are beyond practice. So now this is not something which is we should be proud it, but this is what the status is. But we have to go beyond it, that we have to optimize whatever the time period you have. So we can divide life into 3 stages: 30 years into the medical college, next 30 in the hospitals, and next 30 maybe retirement after 60. And nowadays life expectancy is increased, so you need a significant amount money after retirement. So what happens when we start practice? We are already 10 years behind our colleagues. Those are engineer, or that they are started practice and they are earning, and we are lagging behind. So those are having material, many cars, house, and we feel that we are lagging behind. So we try to compete, and we try to buy the things based on the, if you are not affording, you buy on the loan, and then you have to set up the clinic, buy the house, and you are drawn in the debt, that is loan, and some of the agents will attach you some policies where you start ATC policies, and you will buy gadgets and material things too, so that you can compete with the others that you also want to show as a rich, even if you are not by definition of rich. It is called as what are your financial asset. If you have $1 million, then you are rich. But you may have 1 million toys, but still doctors are high asset, high income, high material and low asset people. So giving this background, you will have to start immediately as soon as you should be aware. And as I say, investment should be start as soon as person is born. So you are 30 years delay. Why? Because time is money, and money is also time. If you start early, there is a multiplier effects because of time factor. And within a 20-30 years, your 100 rupees can become 20,000, 100 become 2,000, 3,000 can be multiplied because of time. So as soon as you should start. The problem with investment, many people do not understand what is investment. Investment is dal diya. What is dal diya? If you ask anyone, what are you investing? They'll say, mutual fund mein dal diya. Policy mein dal diya. So that is, dal diya is not investment. Cryptocurrency mein dal diya. It's not investment. You have to start investment. So Dr. Unnikrishnan, whenever I exit, please stop me because I have a habit of talking. So
no problem. You can keep your answers crisp because there are a lot of questions. So please.
Right. So this is as soon as possible.
So thank you for that answer. And it's very important because I remember the very early stage of my career, I used to have a scooter and my neighbors and everybody used to tell me, even my relatives used to tell me, Dr. Unni, you are a doctor. You can't be going around in a scooter. You have to take a car. And I never took a car till I was ready to, go ahead and pay for it and take the loan. So you can see many doctors are starting their investment after clinical practice, and that's not good enough. You need to start your investment as early as possible, as soon as you're born, maybe, and or even as Dr. Ramnath said, some parents might like to plan the finances even before birth, like primordial prevention strategy. Even before birth, you can start to plan the finances. So now here, let me ask, many doctors I see, like Dr. Ram said, मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल दिया, मेरे पास थोड़ा पैसा था, मैंने उसमें डाल दिया. So Dr. Gandhi, is it good to go in for such sort of, hunches and put some money there, or look at some momentum stock and put some money there, trying to time the market? Instead of that, isn't the SIP a prudent and effective strategy? And how do you think SIP can help doctors achieve their financial goals? You'll have to tell the full form of SIP as well,
Yeah, thank you, Unni. First of all, this it's a wonderful platform which is there for all doctors. Before I start, I can tell you one thing. Money is not everything, but without money, there is nothing. This is a dictum which we should learn. And when we talk about my investment, I'll tell you, I was doing investment since long, only after practice only, like everybody is doing here. But it was never a structured investment planning, which we should do ideally. And I have started doing it now, a structured investment planning, only after learning it from Dr. Ram. And that's why I can say here, Dr. Ram is my mentor, who has taught me how to plan the investments. Now, when we talk about SIP is systematic investment planning. Systematic investment planning is a investment where we invest small amount at a regular interval of time. Now, that small amount can vary from person to person. We agree that nobody has a lump sum amount at any given point of time, and we can't invest investment. We can't do investment at one point of time and forget it. Like Dr. Ram said, dal diya and bhul gaye. It should never be like that. Second thing, when we invest at a particular point of time, you don't know where is the market. Market is at peak or at trough. You don't know. If you have invested at peak, then probably you may lose some money. And when we talk about SIP, we talk about long-term investment. So if you do SIP, or if you do monthly investment, maybe monthly or quarterly investment at a regular interval, a fixed amount of investment, you can always average your investment so that you are neither at peak nor at trough, and you get a good amount of return. Now, I'll give you an example. There are various SIP calculators which are available online. You can do the calculations from those SIP calculators. I can give you one example, like a previous question which you had asked, where you could see that most of the people have started their investment after they started practice, or many of us have not started investing. Currently, we can say that most of the postgraduate students, I'm just giving an example. It varies from person to person, but then most of the postgraduate students in medical field, they are getting average stipend of maybe 70 to 80,000 or maybe more than that. Usually, that's what we see. Now, if you start planning investment of 50,000 rupees per month, again, you can always individualize it, but then I am giving you an example. If you start investment a 50,000 rupees per month at the age of say 25 years of age, your age, and you keep on investing only 50,000 for next 30 years, total investment will be 1.8 CR. And at the end of 30 years, how much return you are expecting? Currently, all the mutual funds which you are getting in returns from the mutual funds is approximately 15 to 18%. Dr. Ram will say that we should not invest in mutual fund through agent, we should invest it directly. And how do we learn? How do we select those mutual funds? That also I learned it from Dr. Ram only. There are various mutual funds where we get approximate return of 15 to 18%. So if you get 15% return for 30 years on 50,000 rupees per month, only can you guess how much return we should get at the end of 30 years? We have invested maybe you can just guess. We have invested 1.8 CR over a period of 30 years, and at the rate of 15%, how much return you should get it?
Maybe 15,
you can,
20
you
crores,
can calculate it from you can calculate it from SIP calculator. You won't imagine, it's approximately 35 CR. So at the age of 55, if you get a lump sum of 35 CR with just 50,000 rupees per month investment, which you have started during your postgraduate days and which you continued it for 30 years, it's a huge amount. You can keep on increasing the investment amount also with time, but then this is the example which I have given, and that's the magic of compounding. Dr. Ram always says that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world, and this is the wonder which you could see here. One investment of 1.8 CR, you will get 35 CR at the end of 30 years. It is a magic of just compounding only. So that's the beauty of SIP, and that's why you should start investing by SIP only at a regular interval. Nobody has a lump sum amount at any given point of time. So you keep on investing your money at regular interval. You will get absolutely wonderful returns if you start investing early. So I agree, we should start investing at birth, but then for at birth, our parents will have to start it. But if I want to do it for myself, then I can start it at least in the postgraduate days. That's the age when you should start it ideally, from my own funds.
Thank you, and well said, well said. And you know what, like Dr. Pramod said, that money isn't everything, but without it, life becomes difficult. And we doctors, we have a lot of patients, and we get satisfaction from treating patients, and patients respect us, and patients love us. But this satisfaction cannot replace a good salary or a good financial security. Because if you are in trouble, if you are in a particular crisis, or it could be a health crisis or a family crisis or a financial crisis or some crisis, we only have ourselves, our close friends, our family. Patients will always find another doctor. So we should plan for such contingencies. And we have a quick opinion poll now. We are going to ask our audience, how many of them actually have a contingency plan or fund to look for such unexpected emergencies. You just have to answer yes if you've got such a fund, no if you don't have such a fund. While we are waiting for the answer, let me ask Dr. Chadha, how much contingency fund does a doctor need to keep, and where can he or she park it for quick liquidity? And also goals like, doctor may have goals like setting up their hospital, a clinic, a child's vacation, a child's education, wedding, how do they keep all those goals while making the financial plans? So contingency and individual planning of milestones.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Muni. So before I answer your question, let me just tell you that Pramod was talking of big amount of money. I was a PG student in 82, 83. My stipend was 800 rupees, nowhere in the tens of thousands that you were talking. At 800 rupees, in the first 6 months, I found my girlfriend who was to be my future wife. And I started an SIP with 100 rupees. In those days, it was not SIP, it was called a recurring deposit. And I was not wise enough to go into the market. But I still had that discipline of 100 rupees a month. And yeah, to repeat what Ram and Pramod have been talking, compounding is a wonderful miracle. And you will be surprised how things go. So the discipline and persistence is what is really important. And everyone has learned what happened during COVID. So we were taught that you need to have your 6 months requirements of daily living, your EMIs, your expenses in a what we call as a contingency fund, emergency fund, or a corpus which has to be kept separately from your other investment. So that is a real necessity for all of us. And as you mentioned, different requirements, different heads, different investments for that. And as my Guju Bhais would say, you need separate buckets for separate requirements. So whatever you said, your daily expenses, your education, you're planning for vacation, you're planning for marriage, you're planning for higher education. So each one has to be a separate fund. And it's nice if someone advises you what is a short-term fund with minimum risk and what is a long-term fund where you can afford to take some risk, because there you're looking for compounding. And so unless you take risks, you're not going to get good returns.
I think it's well said. Would you like to say something about goals like vacation, setting up a clinic?
So, there are two sets of goals. One are non-negotiable. Your day-to-day living, your EMIs, your child's education. He or she has to go at that particular time to the university. So those are non-negotiable goals. Buying a car, going on a vacation, those are negotiable goals. So you need to separate your life requirements from your lifestyle requirements. And once you have separate heads, then you are definitely comfortable in defining, like I said, low risk, low returns, but sleep properly, high risk, high returns, and still sleep properly.
I think well said. Well said. The importance of sleeping properly is also important, because people will ask, what is the cost of this? What is the cost of that? But another question to ask is, what is the price of that? If the price of a job is or the cost of the job is your sanity and your stress, then the job itself is too expensive. So, sorry, Dr. Aushli, can you put up that slide? I didn't see how many people have a contingency fund.
Yes, sure, sir.
100%, I think so.
Yeah, so everybody's got a contingency fund. I think that's maybe because of COVID. That COVID has settled that worry, and that's the thing. And I think the importance of SIP, the importance of compounding, very correctly said. And while we are waiting, I'd now like to ask Dr. Ram a very important point. So there are many modes of investment.
Just only 1 minute. Let's ask Ram whether 6 months is enough, or should we plan for a longer period now?
So let's say there is a way again COVID returns and hospital is shut down. How many months you can survive if there is zero income? So 6 months is enough. That is in general. But even if you keep 1 year, that is also okay. In fact, whenever I say about financial education, you say you plan your budget 1 year ahead and you keep 1 year contingency. So it's like Government of India budget. You plan 1 year ahead and everything keep into the debt products. That is contingency fund. So 1 year should be the ideal, but 6 months is also okay. And that should be deposited into debt product. not equity.
Thank you. Thank you. And let me now ask you, Dr. Ramnath. There are several, options for doctors. For example, gold, equity, real estate, debt. Can you quickly take the doctors through how to choose an effective portfolio balancing all these various aspects? How to choose between equity and debt investing, but more importantly, the need to periodically review the portfolio and make appropriate changes depending on the different macro and micro situations.
Correct. So here I would like to add here, one shirt size does not fit to all, but this
Correct.
keep on stock is a passive investor. So I am not talking about the trading, but so for the passive investor who is doing in SIP, that is investing monthly every month, you can start in the Nifty Biz and Junior Biz as well. So if you start Nifty Biz, Junior Biz, you don't need to review at all. You just keep on doing. Okay, because stock exchange will do everything for you. That is the index fund, and 95% of the mutual fund cannot beat the Nifty Biz. So if you are starting investment as a passive investment, start SIP in the Nifty Biz, Junior Biz, no need of review. Still, if you are doing a direct mutual fund, you can review once a year and find out if any mutual fund is not performing. Then how are you going to find it? We have a Karisa criteria. It's very simple. You can find it out which is not performing well, and you can replace. We suggest that you should invest only in diversified mutual fund, not sector fund. Diversity means the multiple sectors involved. Sector based we don't recommend. So best is start Nifty Biz, Junior Biz. That is the ideal. If second best is mutual fund, and third best, if you have more than 50,000 capital per month, then you can start buying good company shares. That is also SIP. That means buys certain number of shares every month and review once a year. This is for passive investor. But if you are a little aggressive investor, you can review once in a 3 months. After quarterly result, you get a review of the company. And if you hardly 20, 30 company are in your portfolio, you can review. But as such, mutual fund, you have nothing to review except return, right? So for passive investor, you don't really waste your time because time is money. And theme of this program is passive investor. So answer to this question is Nifty B, Junior B's, no review. If you are doing in a mutual fund once in a month, once in a year. And there is another question related to that ratio. So real estate, it's a big item, big ticket item. Usually every doctor is loaded with the real estate because of obvious reason, which I can't speak on this. So you have to shift to the equity, so balance it. So for the young people, we say 40% into real estate, 40% in equity, for 10% gold, and 10% in debt products like FD is also debt product or debt mutual fund. So 40, 40, 10, 10. And we don't take real estate because, as I said, every doctor is loaded with the real estate. So that is a composition for this age group, right?
I think very crisp answer, very clear guidance. Dr. Ramnath, may I also ask you your opinion on gold? Some people say 5% of the portfolio should be gold, etc. Do you believe in that gold? And of course, physical gold is a no-no. It has to be online gold, but your views on gold, not the current view, the long-term view.
Just if you are possible, you can ask how many of you, them are buying sovereign gold bond. Sovereign gold bond is the fantastic asset class where you can invest. It gives you 2.5% interest rate on the face value, and capital gain is tax-free. SGB should be in a portfolio because the return of the gold, if you take the last 50, 60 years, it is 7 to 8%. And if tax-free, if you are getting tax-free 8%, that is huge return. And few things will never become zero like gold. Gold is gold. And there is an inverse relationship between equity and gold. Whenever equity markets start going down, gold start increasing. Reason is very simple. when people sell the shares, they get the money. Where are they going to invest? There are only 5-6 asset classes. They will invest into the either gold, debt, equity, real estate. Mutual fund manager don't invest in the real estate. So they have only three products. Now crypto is there, but that is not popular among the fund managers. So gold will be always go up, and gold has other benefits as well, right? So this is what related to the gold, and 10% is okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So 10% is all right. Okay.
I have one question, Dr. Ram. How much maximum SGBs we can have it in one portfolio, one account?
2 crores. 2 crores per year.
Per year?
Per year.
I think the sovereign gold bond also is a good idea because you get a 2.5% interest on top of it assured. That's what the government is promising, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a very good tool. As you said, gold is a good hedge against both inflation and also against the equity markets fall. So I think gold should be part. I'd say, like Dr. Ram said, 10% is par for the course.
Yeah.
And I also want to add that,
I think we have
there is one more thing about SGB is SGB over in long term has shown the returns are almost equivalent to equity market. Maybe 10-15 years down the line, if you see, returns are almost equivalent to equity. So that's an advantage of gold.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's one right now. You can go ahead and purchase.
There's one
for SGB right now. You can go and purchase 15. It, right now.
You can buy up to
4 last.
Correct. That is 2 crore. I said that is 4 kg. So approximately 2.5.
Yeah, okay, 4 kg you can buy.
Yeah, 4. So 2.5, 2.4 approx. Yeah.
Well, I think gold, very fascinating. Now, the other question is many people invest in the names of their parents. And this question is to Dr. Gandhi, in the names of their parents, relatives, non-working spouses and children. What are the complications one can expect once you invest in the name of, say, a minor child or a non-working spouse or parents or relatives? What are the situations that may come up? Do you suggest it, Dr. Gandhi, or no?
I think only this is the most difficult question. But then one important thing you remember, if you invest in the name of parents, the only complication which arises is after parents, your siblings might claim on the investment which you had done. So if you are ready for that, then probably it's yes. Otherwise, we should be very careful. When about investing in the name of a non-working spouse, you need to show the source of income. If you are investing in the non-working spouse name, you should be able to show the source of income. Otherwise, it will be from your income only. When you are investing in the name of minor children, then the income which you generate in the name of minor children is your income. It is counted in your income, and you need to pay tax in your income tax slab. Now, in whose name you should invest, it all depends in whose name you want to create the wealth in long term. So you have to take your own decision. You have to individualize your own decision in this.
I think when it's a matter of human relationships, I think no one size fits all, and you are allowed to take it according to this. Dr. Chadha, you were saying something.
Yeah, so I just want to add to what Pramod said. If you have a non-working spouse, you can gift that money every year, and thereafter whatever income comes on that, because the non-working spouse is an adult, he or she has to file their returns and claim that. Children, you are right, up to 18 it will get clubbed onto your income, so you make such investments that the returns will come only after 18 years.
Correct.
Don't go for fixed deposits and things like that. It should be something which will mature after 18 years. And I think PPF is one of the best.
I always say that income tax does not like husband to give gift to the wife, because there is a clubbing. Right?
Correct. So I think
But
that's fascinating. And
yeah,
any other
but we
thoughts?
always say that, yeah, but we always say that people are always afraid of paying tax. But my father always used to say, you are paying tax only if you are earning it. So why you are afraid of paying tax? So you pay more tax, that means you are earning more. You should pay tax.
I completely agree. I think the next question is to Dr. Manoj Chadha, and that's a question which I'm sure is on everybody's mind. Is the credit score important? How does a doctor build a good score, and how can a doctor track that credit score?
So today, Pune, I think credit score is very important, because when you go for a loan or any big project that you're going to show, then you need to show that you're credit worthy. Good old days, your qualification, your balance sheet was enough. But now everyone is interested in how you're living your life, what debts, what credit cards you're using, how often you're repaying it, are you paying partly or whole. So it's important. I would say that all of us should use cards, and that is one way of improving your credit score. I have friends, colleagues who say, oh, I never use a card. I am scared. I will be cheated. But these are the people later on, if they need a loan, they're going to have issues of proving. See, I'm not saying they don't have the funds. They have got healthy bank balances, but the credit ratings is a thing which is very important for all of us. So it's a good idea that if we turn over, just for improving our credit score. And a day is going to come where your credit rating will decide the rate of interest that you will be charged. So as of now, it's sort of a blanket thing, but you can bargain if your credit score is good.
I think it's very important, and I'm very surprised to know that there are doctors who don't use cards at all, because I don't know how.
You bet.
I
I won't name them, but only even you know some of them.
Oh. So I actually nowadays I use my phone only. I don't carry cash. I don't carry card. Everything's on the phone. And I was happy to know about the new digital rupee coming out by the government, of course, and the UPI ATM use. And I think this is set to already India's leading in digitization, and I think it's time. Of course, you'll have to make sure that everything is protected and everything is safe before you go in. And in today's world, card, more than the card, even using your phone to the maximum is actually very, very, you don't need to carry cash in the pocket. Not just convenience, it's just safety, and you are prudent with the money. And next question to Dr. Ramnath. In the present era of a very fast-paced life, we don't get to read lengthy, long messages and texts. Based on your expertise, what powerful sutras can you share for understanding the finance, the stock market? Because everybody thinks stock market is where people make the big bucks. That's not true. I think the mutual funds and the SIPs, as you mentioned, the discipline is most important. But yet, everybody is reading, doing technical analysis and reading about Warren Buffett's style of investing and etc. etc. Your thoughts on that? How can they get financially literate with regard to equity?
So this is related to the Twitter like ArthaSutra or discussion. So first thing, I'll share three lines because time is running short. First, ArthaSutra. ArthaSutra is my book, whatever sir mentioned. You can buy on Amazon.
Yes.
All right. So first is, you will never forget that finance and sex should never be outsourced. That means you have to manage your finance own. You cannot tell any agent, advisor to manage your finance. Now you will never forget this, ArthaSutra. You are the only person on this planet who is concerned about your portfolio. Rest everybody is concerned about their portfolio. So managing your finance is your own responsibility. TV is not a medium of investment guide. It is for entertainment. So if someone is investing based on the TV information or newspaper, they are like a ship because the information for the masses is different from the information for the classes. On TV, information comes at the end when everyone, the big people wants to sell. So never invest into any tips. Now this talk is about a passive investor. In a stock market, if you are investing into investment market, it is important what not to do than what to do. If you avoid 2-3 things, don't invest based on the tips. Do investment yourself. Nifty Biz, Junior Biz, third standard child can do. Don't do intraday trading. I say doctors are supposed to see the patient abdomen, not the screen. Okay, don't do intraday trading. Don't do tips trading. Don't invest into penny stock. Penny stocks mean chiller companies because those are operating manager. And there is something called a stop loss trading. What happens? There is extremes behavior amongst doctors. In fact, it is common as well. They suddenly wake up from the ignorance policy, that is insurance plans, and directly go to the trading, and they lose money. So don't do that. You start with the initial SIPs. After experience, after learning, then only go. Then one more thing I'll tell. ArthaSutra is short lines. New fashion is suitable in wardrobe, not in portfolio. It means never buy new fund offers or any fancy product, let's say crypto-based products. And anyway, never invest into the fancy product. Simple products like SIP Direct Mutual Fund, Nifty B, Junior B's, good company like Reliance, Tata Motor, or whatever the products you are using, use those. And next is I collected your present is the result of past choices. Your future will be the result of your present choices. So do the good financial choices so that your future will be bright. And the investment, many people say, Dr. Gandhi sir said exactly how much you should invest. If you want to have a thumb rule, invest minimum 1/3 of your income into for the retirement and capital building, because that fund gives you a peace of mind. And first you have to dissociate spending with enjoyment. Kal kisne dekha, carpe diem, these are also jhut. Spending has nothing to do with the enjoyment. And if you are married, you know that there are better ways to enjoy rather than the spending on toys. So these are the few ArthaSutra which you will never forget, right? Or
Yes, go ahead.
Ram, I just want you to, even stress on what sort of corpus that we are looking to see, because there is no ideas investing, saving, and at the end of the day, you leave everything behind. So
right.
I believe that you need to know what is enough.
Yeah. So what is enough? I wrote an article in India. 10 crores portfolio as a fixed number is approximately enough for the 95% of the people. Okay. Now, if you want to individualize, I give a very simple formula. Your annual expenses multiply by 20. That should be the point where you are financially free. That means even there is COVID for 5 years lockdown, still your interest rate you will earn. So annual income multiply by 20. So that time you can think of that I am financially free.
No. So it should be annual income or the projected, say, 10, 15 years down the line, inflation adjusted.
No, I have calculated everything and it comes to 20.
It comes to 20. Yeah, that's the point I want to sort of make is there is no idea making 15, 20, 35, 45 crores. And then see, because one very wise patient told me that if you earn and you don't use that money while you are still in good health, then you're a bloody fool. He told me that in so many words. Because for earning, we are spending our time. And when we are spending our time, we are missing out on something else. After all, we are not Harry Potter that can go back and forward. So for us, it is only one-way traffic. So please use your time properly.
That's the precise point. Money should work harder for you. You should not work for money. That is why you should do investment as early as possible so that you will enjoy your life. Okay, that is the reason you should be supposed to invest, right?
The same formula is used for even for term insurance. Also, many people take out the term insurance and then they ask, what should be the amount of my term insurance? That is equivalent to your annual income multiplied by 20, the same formula. Ideally, insurance is an expense, not an investment. So don't invest in insurance. Don't plan for investing in insurance. That's an expense.
Yeah, I think, Pramod, that's an important point to be stressed. That insurance is for protection. It is not an investment.
Investment.
Yes.
So the second part that comes out of it is that if a person is not earning, he or she doesn't need an insurance.
Exactly.
Only
So
the
last-
earning members need an insurance.
Last
Please.
30 minutes, last 30 seconds, if you give me a summary,
Hmm.
गलत क्या है जानने से फर्क नहीं पड़ता, गलत को सही करने से फर्क पड़ता है. So from today, you or tomorrow, stop your all ignorance policy, start your SIPs or in direct mutual fund. If you are regular, convert to the direct, start open the Demat account, start investing in Nifty V Junior Vs, buy the term insurance and start learning finance. So these are the actions. If you don't take actions, this entire session will be entertainment. Information without action is pure entertainment.
The most important thing which Dr. Ram has said, this is a common statement which is made by almost all doctors, you can say. Finance मुझे नहीं समझता, मुझे वो नहीं समझता, so somebody looks after my finance. We have learned medical graduation, we have done our medical graduation, post-graduation, and tomorrow somebody who has done BA, BCom is teaching you the finances. I can tell you, if you spend half an hour per day, maybe in 2 to 3 months, you will learn all the finances. It's not difficult. It's not at all difficult. And you should manage your own money.
I think it's
So
very
the thing
important.
is,
Yeah.
even if
Sure.
it's okay to take an advice from an advisor,
Yeah.
but the final decision should be yours. Because a patient comes to us for an advice, takes the advice, pays the consultation fees, and that's it. Whereas a lot of these managers, they give you advice and they take fees from you year after year after year for that one advice that they gave you and some fiddling around every year in your portfolio. So you take an advice, get things going, and then use your own acumen. And once in a while, there's no harm in going back for another advice. But it should not be an ongoing process.
I think well said. And this particular program that we are in, let me have the next opinion poll, and I have something to share. We are going to ask the doctors, what are your go-to investment medium? And here are the answers. Most people are investing in mutual funds, which is a great thing. But you can see cryptocurrency 33%. I'd love to see Dr. Ram's take on that. And fixed deposit 0%, stock market 0%. Very unusual, but we'll have your take on that. But I'd like to say that this particular program has broken all the records of all the seasons so far. And we have 2,200 doctors live watching us right now as we speak. So this is, usually we have 1,800, we've touched 2,000, we've touched 2,100 before, at 2,200, and that's because of the spectacular presence of Dr. Manoj Chadha, Dr. Pramod Gandhi, and Dr. Ram. So
No, I think Ram is making the difference.
So crypto, I'll quote, if I allow, crypto, I'll quote the statement of the RBI governor. He says, crypto is not worth than the tulip. Tulip bulb is the scam happened in 17th century. As of now, crypto status is like tulip. Probably after 5-6 years, all government will come with some sort of digital currency and crypto will become zero. I don't think any government agency is allowing it. And so we recommend do not go into crypto because you focus on the good products. Crypto are, and if I ask, what do you know about crypto? You are knowing only the wrong stories about crypto. Although it's a product of speculation, speculation can be done on anything. So our take is very clear. We stick to only regulated product, SEBI, RBI, and government. Rest product we do not touch. And most important, do not buy any network marketing scams. There are many people who are duped by this network marketing scam. Give 5 lakhs and double money in 1 month. Don't do it. So crypto is a little bigger scam.
I think never take shortcuts. Never look at how to make a quick buck. I think there are rules and regulations, and unregulated markets, unregulated investments, better to avoid. Crypto, highly risky. I mean, even the regulations aren't very clear. So I think very important points. Dr. Gandhi, how, each doctor initially in their career, they put some money in, say, fixed deposit or something like that. Then they start into mutual funds and equity. And equity, both direct stocks and as part of mutual fund, increases. But at some point, when they are 50, 60, they'll have to cut down on equity and focus on debt and fixed deposits and, more solid investments, because as they grow older, the ability to take risk comes down. So how do you suggest a diversified investment portfolio depending on the life stage? Can a young person, how much to put into equity, middle age, how much to put, old age, how much to put? What's your suggestion?
Yeah, this is very important thing, because as Dr. Ram has said, greed, we should follow the rule of GRED, GRED, gold, equity, real estate, and debt products. So real estate and debt equity is approximately 40-40, gold and is 10, and debt products 10. This is at the younger age. Gradually, as the age advances, we should, maybe at the age of 50, 55, you are asking, we should have majority of our income investment should be in the debt products. You should start consolidating your real estate at one place. Maybe if you have sufficient amount in debt products, you can invest the remaining amount in the equity products. So you should have major amount which is invested in the debt products, so that your risk is minimized. As the age advances, your debt product should increase, equity and real estate should go down. Gold, probably, yes, it's in long term, it's good. So we can continue almost 10-20% gold even in elderly population also.
Well, I think some people use this calculation 100 minus age. If you're 30 years, you can put 70% in equity. If you're 50 years old, put 50% in equity. If you're 70 years old, then put only 30%. But I think that after the age of 65, 70, equity investments should be scaled down to a minimum, because one never knows what is going to be the circumstance outside in the world. And in old age, you don't know who's going to be with you, who's not going to be with you, and where you're going to be. Nobody can predict at what time they will die. Nobody on earth can predict, okay, this is the time that I'm going to die at this point. Nobody can say. The whole thing is uncertain. So I think towards older
according
age,
to that rule, we are saying that at the age of 60, we are going to invest 40% in the
40% equity.
which is
that's what
too
I'm saying.
high, I will say. I will say that is too high. Too high.
So I
No,
would say
Pramod, I don't agree with you, Pramod, because what you started age 100 minus age, I believe now that after 60, I should have at least 40 to 50% still in equity and equity mutual fund.
60 is not old age.
No, that's what I say. I'm not saying I'm old. The point
The
is,
definition of young is changing, because the most bachelor of India is every year young person is coming 52, 53, 54.
No. See, yeah, WHO says middle age is after 65. So we are still young, no problem. See, the thing is, the market scenario today is not what it was 20 years ago. So even if you look at it at very bleak things, we are on a track where it is very difficult to reverse. I mean, that's my optimistic view. I may be wrong also.
Yeah.
And when we said we have a corpus which is enough, then the good part is that if you can survive on that 4 to 5% of that corpus, you will never outlive that corpus. That corpus will always outlive.
See, what I suggest the audience who are listening, his name is younger, so they will never face this question whether they should invest, because by that time, 20 years, they will be expert in a lot, because we have a graduate here, DMP. He's 72 years old and he say, I want to do derivative. So these people far beyond this knowledge. This is very baseline knowledge. So these questions will not arise to them. How much should be equity? They will put 100% in equity, because they know they can earn significant as well. All right.
I think before we go to the final, the USV sulfonylurea Future Ready Symposium, I'd like to thank Dr. Ram, because I think if you take the 4 Purusharthas, which are the 4 qualities of the Supreme Self of the Lord, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, we've covered 3 already. You talked about, Dr. Ram talked about Dharma, that the doctor's Dharma or the doctor's job is to take care of the patients and make the money work for them on the side. He talked about karma, desire, and Dr. Gandhi also talked about greed, the gold, and the real estate, equity, etc. deposits. But then Dr. Ram also talked about karma, desire, and the need to be less trigger happy and be safe. And of course, Artha is very key to what he said. So his book itself, ArthaSutra, is all of us must buy and read it. The only thing remaining is moksha. But if, as Dr. Ram said, if everything else is going for you, if your money is doing your work, if you're happy with your work, you've enough for a vacation, enough for your children, then you can spend time thinking of self-realization and salvation, and that'll come to all. So thank you, Dr. Ram. Would you like to make any
I'm just starting a meeting, and topic is who am I? So I'm going to speak about moksha in other meeting. I'm just starting that. There will be 2,000 members there as well. So I cover everything from Artha, Dharma, Kama, and moksha as well. But that is at HealthCon, related to health, not wealth. Right? Thank you very much for inviting me. And it was nice interaction with. Thank you, Gandhi sir. We'll meet some other day in Nagpur. Thank you, Chadha sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Ramnath. Thank you. Pleasure to have you here. And now let's go on to the final part, which is the Future Ready Modern Sulfonylurea Symposium. And I'm just going to ask one question to both our panelists. In the current era, I'll ask the first question to Dr. Chadha. In the current era of multiple options available, how do you see the future of evergreen modern sulfonylurea and metformin in the management of type 2 diabetes, along with the other OHAs like SGLT2, DPP4, triple FDC? How do you see this modern sulfonylurea metformin combination shaping as time goes by?
So if you look at the evidence from the last 3-4 years, we've been bombarded with the fact that you need to go beyond glycemic control and look at organ protection. But I am ready to stick my neck out to the fact that with the 3 triple drug or the fixed drug combinations that you are talking about, sulfonylureas will stay in our armamentarium. It may not be in 4 milligram, 8 milligram of glimepiride. It may not be 320 milligrams of gliclazide. It may be a small dose, but that little half to 1 tablet of the 3rd generation sulfonylureas are here to stay. And I think it's worth much more than the value that you spend for them. As they were earlier, we are talking difference between the price and the value. So the value of these drugs will remain with us, and we should not write them off.
Well said. And Dr. Gandhi, sulfonylurea and metformin were used in the Wikipedia study. And just like we showed the power of compounding, even in the Wikipedia study, good glucose control had a legacy effect in future. So we didn't have DPP4s in the Wikipedias. We didn't have SGLT2s. Sulfonylurea, metformin were there. So would you like to speak a few words on this modern SU metformin combination?
All said and done. Even if you see the today's overall prescriptions in the, it's not only about the general practitioners, but even amongst the specialists and super specialists, I'll tell you, more than 60-70% prescriptions are still sulfonylurea with metformin. That combination we are using day in and out. That itself indicates that sulfonylurea are going to stay. They are the most powerful agents which reduces HbA1c. Though we always talk about risk of hypoglycemia, but then that risk, if you manage well, that risk is reduced significantly. That risk is not very high with risk of hypoglycemia. And anyway, when you add insulin, that risk of hypoglycemia, you are adding it. So before adding insulin, you can always add sulfonylurea and see these patients' glycemic control. Only thing which probably in your question, which you said is triple drug fixed dose combination of sulfonylurea, metformin, DPP4 inhibitor, and SGLT2 inhibitor, 3 of these drugs. FTCs, I would not prefer, probably because titration becomes a little difficult in such situations when you want to titrate the doses based on patient's glycemic control, whereas DPP-4 inhibitors and SGLT2 inhibitors don't need any titration. Metformin and sulfonylurea do need titration. So probably that becomes difficult if you are using along with these DPP-4 inhibitors and SGLT2. So FDC is little lower on cards, but yes, I do use sulfonylurea metformin combination quite frequently.
I think both excellent points. So sulfonylurea metformin combination addressing both beta cell dysfunction and insulin resistance, controlling the A1C effectively. And that is the ideal, two drugs, oral drugs, which we have for decades. And similarly, two good thoughts that we are left with, both Dr. Chadha and Dr. Pramod and Dr. Ram, all of them said the two cardinal things. One is the magic of compounding and the importance of contingency. So remember those two aspects. And the best way to compound your money is to systematically invest through an SIP or a recurring deposit, but do that very systematically with discipline and always plan for a rainy day. Wishing you and all the best. And now to Dr. Aushli for the final vote of thanks and final comments.
Thank you so much, Dr. Undi sir. We had an amazing session, and I'm really short of words to express my gratitude. I would just like to start by thanking Dr. Undi sir for being such an amiable and amazing expository course mentor as always, and giving a valuable time to us. Thank you, our expert panel, Dr. Manoj Chadha sir, Dr. Pramod Gandhi sir, and Dr. Ram sir for being so explicit, sharing your knowledge, time, and wisdom with us. Thank you for making us pen down all those pragmatic approaches. Dear delegates, thank you for joining. Thanks Team USV and digital team. And I would just like to end by saying, पैसे की अहमियत से तो इनकार नहीं है, पैसा ही मगर सब कुछ यार नहीं है. Thank you everybody and have a great night ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.